Hello, this is Shalia Nelson. This is my 5th tutorial video on this for Module 15. This one is ClassDojo. I used ClassDojo last year for about the last half of the school year, and I used it when I taught 2nd grade, and I know teachers who have used it a lot. So I really like it because it's a very easy classroom management tool. And when I worked for Topeka Public Schools, it was super easy because we had, our teacher computer, we had a laptop, we had an iPad. So I would sync the iPad up to my ClassDojo that was on the board. So then I could just walk around the room and I could ding students. Last year it's a little more difficult because it didn't have that option. I would use the app on my phone to ding students, but it didn't, for some reason, about halfway through decided to not sync together. So that was a little challenging, but it's free. It's very easy to use and pretty self-explanatory. So if you need to sign up, you go here, sign up. I'm gonna log in, maybe. And what I really like about ClassDojo is that parents can have the app and then they can see how their students are doing throughout the day, and you can also communicate with parents on here. I mean, I have a Facebook page, but I would also, if their kid was doing something right there, I could message them right there. Or like whenever we had free time, I would message the parents so they would know what's going on, or just send out reminders on here. So I'm going to use or look at one of mine from last year. So I had two. I had my homeroom, I had my cooperating teacher's homeroom, and then I had what we called non-band. They were just the kids that weren't in band. So let's click on. These are all my students from last year. So what I liked about this was you could, with the settings, you can change the settings to how you want them displayed. So if you want them to see if you want to show just their first names, or you want to show first and last names, you can hide them. So if you want them sorted by first name, don't want their last names on there. You can show positive and negative, like positive ones, or if they need to work. You can show the combined total of points, so how many points they have together, both negative and positive. Or you can show the separate totals. So I'm going to change it to separate total, so it shows how many negatives they had, how many positives they had, and what have you, and then what they had as a class. And then you can also view, you can edit your class. So you can set up student accounts so that they can view themselves, which I had students do. I sent home letters with the parents, with the kids, so that their parents could access it. Then you have the skills, and with my 6th graders last year, we went through and I put on the ones that I thought were the most important, and then we kind of went through as a class, for each class, took time, went through, kind of looked at, made a list on the board of what were some positives that they wanted to be, that we thought were important for the class for us to look for and to try to do. So, think before you speak was a big one. Talking to classmates, respecting each other's opinions, because I had some very opinionated 6th graders. We switched classrooms, so if they were on time, if they were on task, keeping classroom clean, helping absent students, stuff like that. And then we went through the needs work, which this one can be a little challenging because had a lot of opinions. If they were late, if they were just up and leaving the classroom without permission. Bottle flipping was a big one last year. So I had no bottle or marker flipping because they would literally flip anything. And then we had no dabbing because they were dabbing all the time. No complaining or arguing. Towards the end of the school year, we wanted to put no playing with fidget spinners. If they were out of their seat, if they were off task, things like that. And so for each class, I gave the students a chance to give me what their opinions, what skills they thought we needed to have on both from what they saw in class, not just what I saw in class. So then they kind of had a say in it as well. And so then, like, if I wanted to give one of them a point that's positive or a negative, you click on it and it'll give them the points. The other thing under the skills is if you add a skill, you can change the picture, you write it, and then you decide how many points it's worth. And I let the kids help me decide that too. If they thought some need to be worth only 1 point, some need to be worth 4, depending on how they felt, how much they felt, how important they felt it was. So it's a very good tool to use, very good classroom management tool. You can also view reports, so you can view each student's report, send that home with parents, or not parents, send that home to parents if they don't have the app downloaded. You can do attendance, so you can see who's here, who's not here. So say Josie was gone that day, I'd click her, and then that blinks her out, so then I'm not, so if I reward the whole class, she's not getting points because she wasn't there that day. Or you can select multiple if you want to give multiple kids feedback. Random, pick a random student and you can give them positive feedback that way. If you just want to give some random points. The yellow on here for attendance also means like if they were late here part of the day, some of the day, none of the day, what have you. There's timers on here, so you have a countdown timer, stopwatch, toolkit, play music, stuff like that. Student accounts, big ideas. There's a lot. Stories, so you can type what's happening in the classroom, add photos. You can also do messages, stuff like that. Notifications, anything like that. So you can have as many classrooms as you need. They have professional development resources too, which I think is really cool to give some ideas. It's more with the PBIS model. So it worked pretty good with my second graders. I wish I would have done it the whole year with them. And it worked really good with my sixth graders too, because every time they would hear a ding, they would get up, or they wouldn't get up, they would look up to see who got it, or if they got a negative ding, that would tell them to get on task, or sometimes I would just freeze the screen so that they couldn't tell who got what. So, and then if you forget, I always just wrote sticky notes down if I didn't have a chance to do it right then and there to do later on, like if we were in the hallway or an assembly and I needed to give points to somebody for doing what they were supposed to in that way. So this is ClassDojo. Very good tool. It can be used for any kind of grade level. And it's a very easy classroom management tool, and it's all online and it's free. And you can do it on a website or an app. So it's very nice and very cool. So this is ClassDojo.